promise to get slimed at some point.
I am. They're waiting. So as soon as I finish here, I told them Nickelodeon I would do it. I just saw the buckets, and yeah, we're going to do that here in a few minutes.
You worried about your shoes at all? Like if that's going to stain them, or
My what?
your shoes? Do you think the slime's going to stain your shoes?
Yeah, we'll have more shoes if it does.
Sean, are you willing to admit that fourth down, the fake quarterback power with Taysom Hill, were you actually going to go for that, or was that just going to be a timeout call to see if you can get them to jump?
Yeah, it was basically a no-brainer freeze. And actually, where we were on the field, we were just going to take a delay and then kick the field goal. But it's a run formation, a heavy run formation, a different cadence from a different quarterback, and it worked pretty well.
It seemed like the protection in the second half for Drew was a lot better. Did you change things up at halftime to enable that?
Well, look, I thought in the first half, it wasn't necessarily the third downs. We had some minus plays, and it was the complete opposite in the second half. We didn't have a lot of possessions, but I know we had 2 long drives, because when the drives are over and you look at the pictures, and when you get a heavy stack, you know you're on the field quite a while. And I thought the second half time of possession was important. It proved to be important. Our defense played outstanding. Really, the one field goal came off of a turnover of ours, and on offense. And so I thought that it was a great team win, and I thought in the second half we got things clicking a little bit relative to scoring touchdowns and moving the football.
Sean, what does Deontay Harris bring with you just after the catch? He converted like 4 third downs today. A lot of them were big yak plays.
Yeah, we got a lot of zone coverage. You know, some of it was 2 deep high or quarters. Some of it was single high, but maybe a little bit more zone on some down and distances than we might have anticipated. And so Drew did a good job of coming off to some players. And, you know, Deontay's one of those guys in space that, you know, he made a number of plays today, and that was significant. You know, he's hard to tackle one-on-one. We tried to get him the ball on a few, you know, drive starting plays, but it's good to have him back in the lineup.
Sean, did you have any reservations about letting Drew leap over the top there at the end with considering his injury?
No, we talked about that during the week. You know, how he's feeling. He's feeling good. So, no, we just knew a half yard, that would be something, you know, that we'd be willing to do based on the type of goal line front that we were getting.
Sean, do you have any concern moving forward with your kicking game? I know that you missed 3 points there in that first half. Is that going to be a concern, you know, as the playoffs get going?
Well, as a coach, you have concern 24/7 about a lot of things. You know, you're focused on all the specific details. You know, I thought from a kicking game standpoint, we did a lot of things well. We missed a field goal, but Will's someone that, you know, will bounce back. So, yeah, I think, believe it or not, you know, we're fortunate to win a game, and yet we feel like there's a lot of things that we can do better, and that's what we'll get ready to get started on as soon as the practices begin. So I think he'll answer the bell.
Coach, were you concerned about the slow start at all, or what was your feeling as you got to the half?
Well, like I just said, you know, as a coach, you're always concerned. You know, you're wanting to operate efficiently, and but look, I think it's really focused on the things that you can tweak. We threw the ball a little bit more on first down. It's a good defense, good front, and yeah, we did the things we needed to do. So again, good win.
Sean, what was the process like for you with Alvin Kamara this week, knowing that he wasn't able to practice? It seemed like you guys kind of just let him rip out there despite not having him out there.
Well, I've said this all along. You know, first off, he's extremely smart, so he can pick things up right away. You know, he was zoomed in for meetings. He was virtualed in for practices. I think there's some players that might have affected more but he was one of those players that, you know, I think picks things up. He understands what we're doing formationally. And so that made that transition a little bit smoother. And it was certainly good having him back in the lineup.
Sean, is the fewest points you all have allowed in a playoff game in club history. What in particular did you like about your defensive performance?
Thought we tackled well in space. I thought our third down numbers were good. And ultimately, I thought, you know, we forced them to become one-dimensional. And when you're able to do that, you know, you're going to win a lot of games.
Sean, was there any element of having to find a rhythm with some of these guys coming back, or were you happy with kind of how that felt?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd have to look at the tape to see if it was rhythm-driven. I mean, certainly as a play caller, you're wanting to get into rhythm. We shot ourselves in the foot on a few early downs, and I think those are things that we can clean up and correct. So once we see the tape, we'll have a chance to look at that. Last one.
How would you say Michael Thomas looked and his health was relative to this entire season and his influence on the game?
Listen, he draws coverage. He draws rotation. You know, he had a few big plays for us, and he's going to continue to have more and more big plays. I'm glad that, you know, he had that time to really stay off his ankle, and I know it's not 100%, but man, he's going to be significant for us in all of these games. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
So what? You better get slime.